I am so glad that Fairy Tail is getting popular again, especially with 100 Years Quest coming out in July. I'm so fucking ready. But for those of you who may not have seen Fairy Tail, please watch it. I'm begging. This will be one of many things that I will try and convince people to watch Fairy Tail. Like, one of my absolute favorite things about Fairy Tail, there are so many of them, but one of my absolute favorites that kind of shock people is how specific and careful it is with its foreshadowing, and how it is so clearly planned for the long game, but you don't know until you're already pretty deep into it. This will be spoiler free because I want to try and convince people to watch Fairy Tail, by the way. But it's like a thing in Fairy Tail where the author will introduce something and he'll like point something out to you. Like something will happen to a character and it'll be noticed and it'll be talked about and they're like, I wonder why this character wasn't able to do this thing. And you're like, oh, okay. Either they explain it in the next couple episodes or at the very least it's explained by the end of the arc. But it's not. And you're like, okay, I guess the author just fucking forgot that they made kind of an important point that this character couldn't do this thing and nobody knows why. I guess he just forgot about it. He didn't forget. It wasn't forgotten. Because you find out years down the line, like 10 arcs later, it's revealed why that didn't work, and you're like, holy fucking shit, man, that's why it didn't work. That's why all these other things that kind of made sense in the moment, or that I didn't think about in the moment, make more sense now. Like, towards the very end of the series, there's this kind of really big mystery called END, as in the word, like, end, but it's the letters, and it's like a huge thing, it's a huge mystery, and it's super important to how the story ends, and someone had pointed out that in the cover art for the first volume of the manga, in tiny letters, underneath the logo for Fairy Tail, you could see the word END. It was in the first fucking chapters in tiny little letters. Like, that's insane. That is insane to me. And when you go back and rewatch it, which is what I'm currently doing, you notice so many things that in the moment didn't even feel like foreshadowing. Like, it doesn't even feel like anything, but knowing how the series ends, you're like, that fucking joke they just made wasn't a joke, like, in retrospect. And this isn't even, like, for foreshadowing or mystery or anything. It's also for the characters. Like, they get really good development over a very long period of time. You gotta wait for things to happen. Like, my partner had said that they tried to start Fairy Tail a couple of times before I made them watch it with me, and they just couldn't get past the first couple of arcs because they just couldn't like it. And now, they really like it. Like, another example that I think is so fitting, and I'll make a whole video about the women and everything, but because the women are also written so well, but one of the main things that my partner had said was that Lucy, who's like the main female character, they were like, man, like, Lucy easily has the most interesting power out of all of the main group, but it's used the least. Like, they don't do anything cool or interesting with it. And I had to fucking sit there, acting as if it wasn't one of the most important aspects of the series. If you like meticulous detail and random references to a ton of other really cool random shit, you will love Fairy Tail, and you will love the way that it plays the long con.